A very good morning to one and all. This is Ranjana and I welcome you to this video lecture of English Core Flamingo. Today I am going to start the very last chapter of this book. Chapter number 8, Going Places by A.R. Barton. So in this chapter, first we will deal with the author, then with the theme and the summary of the chapter. So, A.R. Barton is a modern English writer. He lives in Zurich and has written a number of literary pieces depicting the contemporary problems and issues. In the present story, Going Places, Barton emphasizes that fantasy and imagination end up in being illusions and empty mirages. So here this chapter is being written by A.R. Barton. The main gist of this lesson is that the story revolves around the life of Sophie, a teenager, who, like other of her age, is filled with fantasies and desires. She comes from a poor financial background, but dreams of owning a boutique one day or being an actress or fashion designer. Her ambitions are not rooted in reality. In contrast, there is another character, and that character name is Jancy. She is Sophie's friend. She is a realistic and practical girl. Now, the theme of this chapter. The lesson explores the theme of adolescent fantasies and hero worship. Sophie and Jancy are both in the last year of high school and both knew that they were destined to work in the biscuit factory as they belonged to a working class family. So, as the story Going Places describes the aspirations and dream of the youth and the pain of unfulfilled promises and shattered dreams. It deals with the complexities of human relationships along with the adolescent fantasies and hero worship. So in this chapter is particularly about the fascination and imagination of the main character, the protagonist of the story, Sophie. So now the summary of the chapter. On their way home from school, Sophie informs her friend Jancy that one day she will own a boutique. Skeptical Jancy tells Sophie that she would need money, but Sophie is undeterred. She says she will be a manager first, which Jancy finds impossible, but Sophie is confident that her natural talent will land her the most amazing shop this city has ever seen. So she is full of fantasies and imagination. Jancy, who knows that both she and Sophie are destined to work at the biscuit factory, she feels sad when Sophie talks like this, and she asks Sophie to be sensible since shop work isn't lucrative and Sophie's father would never allow it. Sophie replies that maybe she will be an actress since there is real money in that. She muses that she could have a boutique or be a fashion designer on the other side since actresses don't work full time. Walking into her home, Sophie announces that if she ever comes into money, she will buy a boutique. Her father replies that if she had money, she would buy us a blessed, decent house to live in. Thank you very much. This is under the quotes. Sophie's little brother his name was Derek. He quips that Sophie thinks money grows on trees, and their mother sighs. Sophie watches her mother stooped over the sink. She notices the incongruity between the delicate bow and her apron strings and her crooked back. The small room is cluttered with her heavy breathing, father, and the dirty washing piled up in the corner. Feeling tightening in her throat, Sophie goes to find her older brother Geoff. Now the next character here is Geoff. Geoff, an apprentice mechanic, is in the next room working on the part of his motorcycle. Every day he travels to the far side of the town for the work, and since he is almost grown up, Sophie suspects that there are parts of his life he doesn't tell her about. In fact, he rarely speaks at all, and Sophie is jealous of his silence. When he isn't speaking, it seems as though he is away somewhere she had never been. Places that fascinate Sophie because they are out of reach to her. Sophie also imagines that Geoff is secretly friends with exotic, interesting people, although she concedes that he is quiet and doesn't make new friends easily. Still, she longs for Geoff to like her enough to take her with him. She is conscious of a vast world out there waiting for her, and she knows that she herself riding behind Geoff on his motorcycle, wearing shining black leathers and her a yellow dress with a kind of cape. She imagines applause at the world to greet him. She imagines that the world will greet her like she is a fairy. As Geoff works on the motorcycle, Sophie says, I met Danny Casey. Danny Casey was a famous footballer of that time. Geoff doesn't believe her, and then he asks if she has told their father. This upsets Sophie because she wants Geoff to understand that he is the first to hear her secrets. She claims that she met Danny Casey while out shopping, and when Geoff asks her what he looked like, Sophie notes that he has gentle eyes and is not as tall as you would think. Actually, Sophie didn't meet Danny Casey, but she is imagining there, and then she is telling a lie. In the living room, Geoff tells their father about Sophie meeting Danny Casey. Their father turns his thick neck to look at Sophie with disdain. He and Geoff argue about how good at football Danny Casey is, with her father suggesting that Casey is too young to play professionally, when Sophie interjects that Danny Casey is going to buy a shop. Then Sophie's father asks if this is another of her wild stories, and Geoff defends her. Their father tells Sophie that someday she is going to into a load of trouble. She is going to get into a load of trouble. And he says that Geoff doesn't believe her, though he would like to. In Geoff's bedroom, which is full of posters of Danny Casey, Sophie swears Geoff to secrecy about something, saying that their dad would murder her. Geoff protests that he would only murder Sophie if he believed her, and Danny Casey must have strings of girls. Sophie protests that Danny Casey isn't like that. He is quiet, and Sophie was the one who approached him. She tells Geoff that she asked if he was Danny Casey, and he looked surprised. And then when she asked for an autograph, they couldn't find a pen. So they talked about clothes for a while. She said he seemed lonely, being so far from Ireland, and he asked if she could meet her next week to get the autograph. You do believe me now, don't you? Sophie asks Geoff. She watches him put on a shiny and shapeless jacket and wishes to herself that he paid attention to his looks and cared about clothes. He tells her that the story is the unlikeliest thing he ever heard. Now what happened? On Saturday, Sophie's whole family attends a football match and their team wins with Danny Casey scoring the final goal. Sophie glows with pride and Geoff is ecstatic. Their father goes to the pub to celebrate. The following week, Jancy asks Sophie about meeting Danny Casey, and Sophie is startled and dismayed. This is a Geoff thing, not a Jancy thing. She thinks, cursing Geoff for sharing what was meant to be something special just between them with Jancy, who gossiped to the whole neighborhood. Now, Sophie says that it's a secret since she wants to keep it from her dad. When Jancy says she would think Sophie's father would be pleased, Sophie realizes that Geoff didn't tell Jancy about the date and she is relieved, thinking that Geoff believes in her after all and that some things might be sacred. Then Jancy says she wishes she had been there to meet Danny Casey, but Sophie dismisses it as a little thing really. So here Sophie is actually lying about that. She is imagining everything. After dark, Sophie walks by the canal to a wooden bench beneath a solitary elm where lovers sometimes came. She thinks that it's the perfect place for a date and she knows that Danny Casey would approve. While she waits, she imagines him appearing and some time elapses before she begins to entertain the possibility of him not coming. Sophie wishes that Danny Casey would come, but she feels pangs of doubt. She remembers Geoff telling her that Danny Casey would never come and how none of them believed me when I told them. Sophie wonders what she will tell them if Danny Casey doesn't come, even though we know how it was, Danny and me. Sophie still becomes despondent at knowing that she will never be able to show them they are wrong to doubt her. Sophie is sad, which is a hard burden to carry. She sits waiting and knowing he won't come, and she can see the future. Her family will doubt her, as they always have. So she will have to hold up her head, remembering how it was. She imagines the slow walk home and Geoff's disappointed face. When she tells him Danny Casey didn't come, he will slam the door, but Sophie will tell herself that she and Danny know how it was. Walking home, Sophie climbs crumbling steps and notices her dad's bike propped against a wall by the pub. She is glad that he won't be there when she arrives home. Sophie pictures herself meeting Danny Casey at the shops again. She asks him for an autograph, but she notices that his eyes are on the same level as her own. He smiles shyly and his eyes are gentle, almost afraid. Danny Casey runs his eyes over Sophie and she looks at him breathless. After he is gone, she stands in the store remembering him. He is no taller than you, no bolder than you, the prodigy, the innocent genius. She remembers the previous Saturday as he maneuvered the ball into the goal into an eruption of approbation. Now, an summary of this chapter in a very explained manner. The story revolves around Sophie, as we have seen, who is a teenager. She is about to finish her school. She dreams big to achieve a lot in life. But on the contrary, her family circumstances are totally different. She belongs to a middle class family, where father is a textbook example of working class. Her elder brother Geoff is already working and is almost grown up in the eyes of Sophie. Sophie has high hopes about her career. She is not interested in joining a biscuit factory and dreams of opening her own boutique. She thinks herself to be very sophisticated and original and suitable to be either an actor or work as a manager. Jancy, her friend, tries to make her realize her practical position. But Sophie is not ready to come out from her world of fantasy. The only person in whom Sophie seems to have full faith and hope is that her brother Geoff. He passed out from school 3 years back and is working as a mechanic. Though Geoff speaks less and most of the time is busy with his own thoughts, Sophie shares everything with him. One day, Sophie tells her brother Geoff that she has met Danny Casey, an Irish sports star. Her father is angry with her and calls it her a wild dream. He warns her that one day she would get into trouble for all this. The entire family is a fan of Danny Casey and they all go to watch a football match in which Danny Casey scores the final goal. Sophie tells Geoff that she is going to date for a date with Danny Casey. Though Geoff doesn't believe her, he doesn't stop her. He tells this to Frank, who is Janny's brother, and Jancy comes to Sophie to get the details. But Sophie hides it from her. Sophie goes to the wharf to meet Danny Casey in the evening. She keeps on waiting for him, but Danny Casey doesn't come. Finally, the reality begins to sink into her. She returns home disappointed. She knows that nobody will believe her story. In order to give herself strength, she herself has to believe in her own story. It's so wonderful for her to live in the world of fantasy. The story describes the psychology of a teenager who loves to live in a world of make-believe. So this story is all about Sophie, how she feels in a world of fantasy. She has created a world of fantasy or imagination around herself. She thinks that she has met Danny Casey. She has that, but she doesn't have that ability. So here, the first thing readers learn about Sophie is her desire for a better future through a glamorous career. And although readers understand that it's likely her dreams will become reality, it also clear that she has determined spirit and unwillingness to back away from her dreams. Sophie's dreams are not ignorant of reality. They seem to exist in defiance of a reality that Jancy is trying to assert. These two girls clearly come from a working class background, and it's important to Sophie's family that she makes an income and contribute to their bills. This is a practical reason for Sophie not to pursue her dreams, which are financially riskier than working at the biscuit factory. Like Jancy, Sophie's family shuts down her dreams, underscoring that Sophie's ambitions are not a result of her not being exposed to the practical realities of the situation. She is actively in defiance of those who want to rein her in. Sophie appears most miserable when considering her mother's life, which begins to show that Sophie has no positive female role models. She cannot imagine a life as an adult woman that she would want to live. So she falls into cliches of adult femininity, being an actress or a fashion designer or other thing. Sophie has created a vivid imagination to concoct a fantasy of her brother as a charismatic, well-dressed savior. She is projecting a number of her desires, freedom, fame onto him, and her acknowledgement that she doesn't make new friends easily. So here it's notable that Sophie imagines Geoff saving her rather than her saving herself. She is so conditioned to understand that women as helpless and less free than men that, even in her fantasies, a man has to help her. In an attempt to bond with Geoff, Sophie invents a secret to share with him, that she met with a favorite football player. She believes this will connect them in two ways. First, by fostering a closeness based on sharing secrets, and second, by suggesting Danny Casey finds Sophie worthwhile. It is notable that she attributes traditionally feminine characteristics to Danny, making him more like herself. So at last, because of this fantasies, Sophie is disappointed that it was all her fantasies. She has created her own disappointments in her life. She has that unrealistic aspiration that she cannot fulfill. So this is all the story or the summary of the story. I hope that you have understood the chapter. In case you have not understood, you can ask me on the WhatsApp. So till now, keep listening, keep reading, and be safe. Thank you.